I'm really happy right now because this is the last interactive like YouTube video that I'm doing on like this document that you're seeing. So I'm like stoked. But this is gonna be an awesome video because it's the last one. So I'm gonna give it my all, and I'm gonna tell you how you want to solve option questions that may appear on your final exam, midterm, project, assessment, or homework for an intro to finance class, such as Comp 308 at Concordia, or if I'm not mistaken, MGCR 351 or 451 at McGill, or really any undergrads out there. This is really what you need to do, okay? In the options questions, you're gonna have to solve for the payoff, the profit. Perhaps you're gonna have to build a payoff table or a payoff diagram. In this question, you will learn how to do every single one of these. And you're also gonna get some added context on what the heck a put is and what the heck a call is, although this one's only on puts. I'm still gonna give you some context, and also how to like maneuver across every single step. Okay, so let's get into it right now. Let's jump into this, and hopefully after this I could go, take a walk or just take a nap. It's been so long. I did like 12 hours of just filming, and drawing and doing the thing. It was so much. All jokes aside, all cringe aside. Suppose that Jake and Sarah are interested in speculating on P&G's stock, which is currently trading at $25 per share. Okay. And they're considering to have two different positions. The first one will be a position at which they're going to buy a put option. That put option is going to have a strike price of $35 and a premium of $2.5. Okay. The second position will be the sale of two put options. Okay, this is really important. The sale of two put options that have a strike price, or that it has a strike price of $19 with a $1 premium each. Okay, that's amazing stuff. Now let's go and highlight our mission for this question. What are we trying to do here? What do we care about? Well, we want you to draw a payoff diagram for this portfolio. We also want you to kind of figure out, well, what is the profit and loss of this portfolio? So there's not a specific amount. In an exam, they may say like, hey, what is the maximum profit? Or what is the profit for this specific value? In this case, I want you to find the profit or loss for every single dollar value that we're going to add into our payoff table. Okay, so now I just mentioned this idea of a payoff table, all right, and a payoff diagram, and profit and losses. How do we do that? Well, there's a core tool that you need to like master, a core skill that you need to master when doing options pricing or like options questions. It's really the easiest tool out there, but a lot of students typically don't do it for whatever reason, okay? And what's awesome is that this tool is used by professionals, PhDs, grads, and undergrads like myself when I took the class back in the days. I'm gonna tell you exactly what this tool is all about, how to do it step by step, and hopefully you'll be a master after maybe one or two of these videos. So let's go and do this right now. Someone choose a random color, I don't know. Let's go with this color, okay? So the first step, so just draw a line. Wow, look at that, so easy. Just gotta draw one line, okay? And we're gonna just write a few things on this line. We're gonna look at our positions, okay? Our positions will be our first little column, okay? And they really just consist of these two positions for Jake and Sarah's portfolio, all right? So we can go ahead and write these two positions onto our, onto our payoff table, okay? Payoff table / profit table. So here we could say that we're gonna buy a put at $35. And you can maybe even put in a different color, no pun intended, that the premium is 2.5. Okay, and here we're going to put the premium is $1. And then for the second bucket, we're going to have, we're going to sell two puts at $19. Okay, so just to be clear, we have a first position, which is buy a put option with a strike price of $35, with a premium written in yellow for $2.50. Then within our second row, or like I guess our third row, I mean, the first rows are headers, and you know what I'm saying, okay? We're on the same page. We got this, all right? So within that row, we're gonna have sell two put options with a strike price of 19 bucks, and we have written in yellow the premium for each, okay? After that, what we really want to write, and I'll put in, I guess, in a different color, is we're going to write here, we're going to look for our payoff, okay? We're going to look for our payoff. And then I guess I forgot to draw another little column, I guess another row. We're then going to have right underneath that our profit. That's what we're solving for as well. Okay, our profit. You don't understand. I'm so excited. I'm almost done. I'm almost done filming these videos for another 24 hours. That's awesome, man. So we're going to have our profit right here. Okay. So we have now all of our rows. That's awesome stuff. Now we got to look at our columns. What are our different columns? Okay. We have our positions here, but then the second part of our columns will really just be stock prices. Okay. Because we want to run a simulation on a bunch of different stock prices to figure out what would be the payoff of every single one of these positions, and then what would be the payoff of our portfolio. Typically, students kind of get confused here. They're not too sure. How do we find these stock prices that we need to use in order to run our simulation within our payoff/profit table? There's actually a really, really easy methodology or trick to use here. This trick can be divided into two segments. One is by using all of the prices that are provided in the question, okay? And then the second segment, the second, I guess, part of that like method that I'm talking about is to use the extreme method, okay? The extreme method literally just wants you to find a upper bound for your price and a lower bound for your price. It's super straightforward. So let us begin with the first part of this method. The first part of this method requires you to, quite literally, can't be any complicated than this, highlight all of the prices mentioned in the question. So in other words, all of the stock prices or all of the strike prices mentioned. In this case, we have 25, 35, and 19. Therefore, these three prices will all be added to your payoff table. It's as easy as that, okay? Now we need to jump into the second portion of our methodology, which is the extreme part of the method, which is simply finding our lower bound for prices and our upper bound for prices. So our lower bound for prices, okay, will always be equal to $0. Just like that, you already know what to place in. So here I guess I'll write it in kind of green. No, I'll go with the original green actually. We're going to have our lower bound, which is going to be equal to $0. And then our upper bound is simply going to be one of two things. Okay, so we'll write it here. It's simply going to be the minimum amount plus the max amount. What does that mean? You're going to take the smallest amount you have plus the biggest amount you have, or you could take your smallest amount you have and multiply it by 2. They're both amazing options. They're both okay. Now, for your upper bound, just a quick little note is that if your minimum value, here it's 19 bucks, if that multiplied by 2 is still smaller than your max, like dollar value, then don't use it because it won't give you a holistic view for your payoff table. The reason why we're looking for extremes is because we really want to get a broad, very broad range of all payoffs available, okay? So in those cases, I really recommend that you look for the min plus max. In this case, I'll help you out. Our min plus max would be 19 plus 35. That's going to be, I literally can't do math, 54. And our min times 2 would be 38. In this case, I'm going to opt for the min plus max method, okay? Because it's really going to give us a pretty good set of extremes. Hopefully that made sense. So now we could do this. And we're going to write our first stock price, which is $0, right? Because that's our lower bound. Then we're going to write $19. Then we're going to have $25. Then we're going to have $35. And then I guess we're going to extend ourselves just a little bit. Like this. And yeah, because I'm going to use the min plus max method, we're going to get $54 here. Okay. You could have also used the min times 2, but just for me right now, it's not what I want to do. Okay, you can choose, really. I just want to get a really holistic and broad view. So now let's begin. So let's take a step back though. What is a put option? Okay, what is that? A put option, at this point, you should be a pro if you saw my older videos. A put option is simply the right to sell the underlying asset at a fixed price for a specified amount of time. And I put that in simple terms. What this means is that what's interesting is that a put option is going to be a fixed price, okay? And that fixed price is going to be the price at which you're allowed to sell a stock. And this becomes extremely powerful when the price of the stock is smaller than that fixed price, because that difference will be your profit. In other words, your payoff for now, it'll be your payoff. See, my brain's like profit, profit, profit. But that difference between the put price, exercise price, and the stock price will be your actual payoff. And a put becomes really, really, really interesting when the price of the stock is smaller than the exercise price of the put, because now you're able to make a margin, right? If the stock is trading at $0 and you have the right to sell it at 19 bucks, then hell yeah, you're gonna sell it. You're gonna sell it at 19 bucks and you're gonna make 19 bucks on that put. Now, if the price of the stock is bigger than the put, well, then there's no value in your put, because why would you sell it at a smaller price than what's on the market? You're going to make no margin. You're only going to help the buyer. It's not a vibe. So that's the context you would want here. Okay. Please remember that a put is only really interesting and extremely powerful when the value, all right, of the stock is smaller than the value of the strike price of the put. The difference between the two will be your margin, it'll be your payoff, all right? So let's go ahead and do that. Let's look at our first position. Our first position says that we're gonna purchase a put for $35. So if the stock, right, is trading at $0 and we have the right to sell that stock at $35, well, we're making an amazing margin. We're making $35 difference, and that's gonna be our payoff. So in this case, we have $35 as our payoff. Now, if it's trading at 19 bucks, we're going to have $16 as our payoff. Now, please, I hope I'm able to do mental math. 20, 15, 35, hell yeah. And if the stock is trading at 25 bucks, we're going to be making $10 payoff. But if it's trading at 35, well, then once again, we said that we're not going to use our put if the stock price is not smaller than the value of the strike price of our put. Okay. In other words, there would be no value in using it. So for that reason, $35 would give us a payoff of $0, and a stock price of $54 would give us a payoff of $0. Now, what do we do when we're looking at multiple positions within a position, like multiple puts or multiple calls? And also, what happens when we're selling it? This becomes interesting. Well, we can break this down into step by step. So when you see something like we're selling multiple puts or we're selling multiple calls, the first step to do is always to act like if we were buying it, okay? If we were to buy a put and the price on the market was $0, right? A put with a strike price of 19 bucks would give us a payoff of 19 bucks. So that's amazing. And because we would have two puts, we would have a payoff of 38 bucks. But the thing is, we're selling that put. It's no longer ours. We lost the opportunity to make the payoff on that put. And because we lost the opportunity to make that payoff on that put, it's like if we lost the money in our pockets. It's a negative, okay? So we're gonna need to put a minus sign on that amount. So $19 is the value of our put. The value on the market is $0. So the difference between the two is 19. That multiplied by 2 is 38. So you're gonna have to put a minus in front of that. So we have minus 38. Now, if it's trading at $0, your payoff would be 0. And at this point, the rest is, of course, easy to understand. Such that now we notice that this is interesting. Our payoff here is going to be minus 3 because you need to add this to this. In this case, we realize that this is minus 3. Here it's 16. Here it's 10. Here it's 0. Here it's 0. So that's extremely interesting. We notice that it's growing smaller. We have a pretty good sense of what's up. On an exam question, honestly, what you just did here is enough. And you could go deeper. You could look for other prices in between 19 and 25 and in between 0 and 19. But in this case, it's probably not the most like relevant thing to do unless they ask you for a specific exercise price, okay? And for profit. Now for profit, we need to use our brain just a little bit, but it's actually super straightforward. So for profit, all that you gotta do is you gotta understand that to find the profit, you really gotta look at this from two perspectives. And I'm sorry that I'm writing like a clown. I guess I'm so excited that I don't want to work anymore. That's crazy. So we need to look at profit. And profit's a very easy framework to do, okay? Because profit really is us looking at what is the impact, okay, of the premium on our payoff, right? Because a premium, well, what it represents, it's how much we paid or how much we received off the purchase or the sale of an option. Now, of course, if we buy an option, okay, this means that we had to pay for this option. So what you're going to do is you're going to do payoff, right? The total money you would have made off this portfolio, well, of course, it's going to be minus that premium because that premium is something that you had to pay. So that's going to cut from your gains. Whereas if you sell an option, well, then that option still has a premium. And that premium is what you're going to ask the buyer to pay you. So what you're going to do is whatever payoff you had for that portfolio will be added by the premium. Essentially, you're going to add the premium to that. So this is the framework that I would want you to use. Okay. So if we look at our stats here, we know that we have 2.5 right here, and we have essentially 1 times 2. So we know that we're going to lose $2.5, right? Because we bought this option, but we know we're also going to gain $2 because we sold 2 options. In other words, the net premium here, okay, the net premium is going to be equal to minus 0.5, so 50 cents, okay? Such that if we were to write what our profit is, we would get the following amounts. I guess I'll go with a different color, being a little sexy. We're going to have minus 3.5. Here we're going to have 15.5. Here we're going to have 9.5. Here we're going to have minus 0.5. And here we're going to have minus 0.5. Okay, so your maximum profit already, we're able to answer number 2, is going to be 15.5. And that's awesome news. Now, another thing is that we could actually draw our payoff diagram. In this case, we don't have a lot of data points. It's not going to be the nicest payoff diagram ever, but it's still worth the show. Okay, so I'll draw it up for you guys. I'll give you a quick introduction to how we do this. I definitely do believe that I have better videos that give you a better example of what a good payoff diagram would look like because there's multiple inputs, but nonetheless, let's give it a shot. So notice how we have S on a horizontal axis. That's going to be our stock prices. So our X's will be our stock prices. Notice how we have P on our vertical axis. So on our y-axis, that's going to be our payoffs, okay? So what we're going to do is we're just going to write all of these different little payoffs onto our paper. That's definitely not correct. So we're going to have maybe $19 here, maybe 25 bucks here, 35 bucks here, then 54 bucks here, okay? Now you're going to draw up all of your different payoffs. So we have 0 and just 0, 10, 16, 35. So I'm going to put 10, 16, and 35 right here. Then we're going to have one negative amount, which would be minus 38. Okay, I feel like that's pretty good. So what you're going to do is we're going to look at every single one of these just for fun, because why not? We have the time. So let's put this as the green color. Let's put this as orange. Let's put this as like blue. So if we were to draw our first position onto our payoff diagram, we would get something that looks like this. So our put, if the stock price was $0, would yield 35 bucks as a payoff. And if the stock price was 19, it would yield 16 bucks. And if it was 25, it would yield 10 bucks. If it's 35, it would yield 0. If it was 54, it would yield 0. So what's awesome is that we know that the payoff is 0 from 35 all the way to 54. We also know that we would have a payoff that looks a little bit like this. So I'm just going to move these just to, try propaganda so it looks good. There you go. And now if we look at the sale of 2 puts, we know that if the stock price is $0, then our payoff would be minus 38. But we also know that it's going to be $0, our payoff for 19 bucks, 25 bucks, 35 bucks, and 54 bucks if these were the actual stock prices. Okay, so this would be our payoff for the second position. Okay, now if you want to look at our portfolio payoff and we want to put that into a diagram, and I'm actually going to write payoff here. We would have something that looks like this. Oh, it's in blue. Okay, I'm getting freaky with it. Oh, I didn't put minus 13 and 16. I did put minus 3. I'm definitely tired, that's for sure. So minus 3, 16, 10. Okay, cool. So our payoff will look something like this, where we have minus 3 if the stock is trading at $0. We would have 16 if the stock is trading at $19. That's so interesting. Whoa. So we'll put it here, I guess. And we would have $10 if the stock is trading at 25 bucks. We would have $0 here, $0 here. Now this is a really, really, really interesting payoff. Notice how it goes like this, all the way down here, and then tapers off to 0 after that. So that's really awesome. And that's how you draw a payoff diagram for individual positions, for an entire portfolio, and that's how you solve for the profit of an entire portfolio. And this is really the methodology to take on an exam. And look at the smile on my face. I'm so excited that I'm done, and I'm really excited that I was able to help you out. The reason why I'm happy is because there's now a literal, like another 40 plus questions that were added to my YouTube channel. And those questions are made from exam-like problems focused on giving you all the skills you need to be able to solve these complex problems and to find them actually easy. So you should feel empowered. You should feel like you have the tools that you need to do well. And that's exactly why I'm here. If you go on my website, at this point, you should be able to find a bunch of resources made to help you. If you go on my YouTube channel, you will find a bunch of labeled and categorized like problems and videos that are made to help you out as well. So I hope this helped you out. I hope you feel empowered, and I know that you're awesome. If an idiot like me is able to make sense of this material, a person amazing like you should be able to do so as well. I believe in you. I know you got this. And I really, 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 really hope that this is able to help you ever so slightly. Now, continue being amazing. Keep on working hard. I know you got this. Don't stop. There's so much more resources out there. And if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to leave a comment. Please don't hesitate to reach out. If I have the time, it would be my absolute pleasure to help out, okay? So keep on doing the good work. You got this. My spiel is over. I'm gonna go soak in some sun or something because this has been way too many questions in a row. And I'll talk to you later, okay? Au revoir.